Taika Waititi is currently being canceled on Twitter for a 2013 tweet where he was making fun of transgender people. I'm gonna read that, then give you guys my thoughts. Now, Taika Waititi here said, "This again. This was put out on January 16th, 2013. Keep that in mind for the rest of the video, because I don't rant often, but I'm going to fucking rant in this video, and I don't care if I curse. I don't care if I upset anyone. I am genuinely pissed off. But anyways." Here's the comment he made in 2013. He said, "No disrespect to men who want to be/dress as women. I should have just said their makeup looks manly. Also, no disrespect to meth users." Now, this was a poor, tasteful joke. I make a lot of jokes all the time, but I also understand when to limit myself. I love making edgy jokes. I love making dark humor, but at the same time, I understand I need to make jokes that aren't specifying and targeting an entire group of people. I've kind of learned that throughout the years. Trust me, there's a lot of things about me that could get me canceled, me at least for the past. But I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Some of y'all are probably going to call me unhinged. I don't care. If you're going to cancel Taika Waititi for this, you're a little dipshit, butt fuck looking moron. I'm sorry, but if you're canceling Taika, you're probably some spoiled little white kid. Honestly, I'm gonna say that right now. All these people, all these fucking morons who love canceling people on Twitter, Instagram, social media, anywhere, usually for old tweets, a lot of these people tend to be these little spoiled little brats who don't learn because their parents spoil them and baby them their entire life. And so they go on social media acting as if they're superior to everyone because they have a pride flag on their fucking bio. I don't give a shit, okay? I am somebody who's very supportive of the gay community. You guys know I've defended the gay community tons of times on the Geeks and Gamers channel, or not on the Geeks and I've been against the Geeks and Gamers, Neurotic, all these fucking morons who like to propose a lot of homophobic agenda on their videos. And trust me, I've had a lot of homophobic attacks my way. Now, I am going to clarify, I'm a straight cisgender male. All right? I'm a straight cisgender male. Is that going to be a disadvantage? If you believe that's a disadvantage to my claims, then get the fuck out of my channel, because trust me, that's the thing. I'm so tired of these, these fucking morons. I don't like using this word because I feel like it's been overused. These social justice warriors. A lot of these people claim to care about society and claim to care about things happening in the real world, yet you fucking focus on old tweets. I'm sorry. And look, I'm going to say this. This is the distasteful joke. This is a joke you probably shouldn't be making. And Taika Waititi should have thought about this more than once. He should have thought about it, and he should have improved. But guess what? This was done in fucking 2013. What is he supposed to do? Have a fucking DeLorean? What? And I know a lot of people are using this excuse. Oh, he called himself... what was it that he called? It was in this clip right here. Let's see. Calling himself a gay icon. Now, I understand you probably shouldn't call yourself an icon of anything, really. But realistically, he has in his movies shown, same-sex relationships. I mean, just look at Thor: Love and Thunder. And I'm somebody who believes in, like, being progressive. I believe there's a lot of things in society we got to improve. But one of my biggest problems is there's always these social justice warriors kind of people. These wannabe people who want to save the world, but they're not really doing it. Instead, they complain about white people on Twitter all the time. You like calling white people crackers, but you get really offended when you find their old tweets. It's the thing that kind of frustrates me. It's the thing that exhausts me. And I've talked about this in my Spider-Man Lotus video. And maybe I kind of already threw away people off this video. I don't care. Now let me explain. Now in society, being transphobic was normal just a couple years ago. I was transphobic back then. Trust me. I made a lot of transgender jokes. To give you an example, in 2016, there's this popular meme going around where you would jokingly identify yourself as an attack helicopter. I did that a lot. I would tell my friends I identify as a Cool Ranch Dorito. I said that all the time. Guess what? That's normal. That's how society ran back then. Okay, are we supposed to hold people accountable for something they did 10 years ago, even though clearly they've improved from that mistake? Are we really doing that? Are we seriously doing that? Because I can guarantee you most of the people canceling Taika Waititi are dumb little 16-year-olds who know nothing about life, who have been served their entire life and on a silver platter. They've been spoiled. They've been handcrafted to just be these little sons of bitches. An example of this is probably if you go to Starbucks 4 times a week. That's probably a good example of you being a little spoiled brat. And that's the thing I hate about cancel culture. I hate this mob mentality. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding like Jeremy Griggs or The Quartering, but they're not wrong about one thing, and that is cancel culture. There's so many buttfuck little spoiled little morons who want to act as if they're saving the world, when in reality, you're not. All you're doing is complaining about tweets from decades ago of a person who has promoted the LGBTQ plus community on his movies. He's doing more than what y'all have done. All y'all do is put ally on your bio, while he's actually putting them in movies, normalizing it for future societies. There are countries where gay people are being slaughtered just because they are gay. There are actually countries where you get murdered for simply supporting people that are gay, even if you are straight yourself. And not only that, but here in America, a country where we're very much privileged, at least most of us are. You know what? I'll say this. This country, America, is better than most countries out there in the world. Or at least it's better than, I probably would need to research that. I know there's probably some other countries that could be better, but compared to like countries in South America, Central America, trust me, this country is much better. There's a lot more opportunities here. There's a lot more freedom. There's freedom of speech here. We have our amendments. We have our constitutional rights to defend us. And yet, for some reason, we like to go back and complain about somebody's old mistakes. There's a difference between a mistake and an actual true issue. Like, for example, the Kevin Spacey stuff that happened years ago, that one's understandable because he did commit real crimes. While Taika Waititi, he just made a quick joke. It's a distasteful joke. I understand if you felt offense towards it, but to go out of your way to try to cancel a man for an old joke is completely pathetic, and it's completely stupid. And clearly a lot of you guys that are trying to cancel him clearly don't know how the world works. Clearly. Because again, a lot of these little pricky little white bitches want to act like they want to save the world, but all they're really doing is making social media worse. It's the thing that I'm annoyed of. And he also this was also an argument he had on Twitter. Where can I find it? So this person, Caro, says, by the way, this is all in 2013. Slut shaming, transphobia, and immense misogyny all in one tweet. I don't like beauty pageants either, but dude, not cool. Taika Waititi says, no, it is cool. Coro says, my trans friends who struggle with suicide daily due to similar comments hardly think so. And Taika said, my trans friends can walk in heels, but you're right. Actual Katuni are better looking. And look, those were horrible jokes. But guess what? He's changed. Or at least from what we see publicly, he's changed. He's improved, and he's actually promoting the LGBTQ plus in his movies. Look, I'm not the biggest Taika fan. I didn't like Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought that was a flawed movie. I love Ragnarok. I love Jojo Rabbit. But I'm not particularly the biggest fan. And even recently, I've been starting to become less of a fan because I just feel like he's being overused in movies. I thought his character in Lightyear was kind of annoying. I thought his character in Free Guy was funny at times, but half of the time was kind of annoying. I thought Korg in Thor: Love and Thunder was a boring mid-character that should have been limited far more than the screen time he had actually gone. I believe that. But that doesn't make me hate him. And you can hate him too. But to cancel him, you're going way too far. You're going too far. Do something for society. Promote LGBTQ+. Promote actual issues. BLM, whatever you're supporting. But the minute you start trying to cancel an ally of yours for an old joke is the minute you start losing people. Why do you think people make fun of us? Why do you think people call you SJWs? Why do you think people are transphobic? Why do you think people are still homophobic? Because they'll see some of these people and think, oh, they're just sensitive little bitches. And then they'll move on and they'll support people like Andrew Tate. This is the reason why people fall down an alt-right pipeline. This is the reason, because we annoy them and we keep treating them like trash based on old jokes from decades ago. How do you expect somebody to improve from their past if all you do is keep bringing it up? By the way, who the heck had enough time to go down on Taika Waititi's entire Twitter history and found this tweet? I don't know how you spend this much time, and I'm sorry, but this is loser mentality. There are much better things we could be doing in society. There are much better things we could be doing in society, and instead, we are canceling a person who is an ally of the LGBTQ plus for an old joke they made 10 years ago. Grow the fuck up. It's always coming from people who are these spoiled little pathetic whiny little white kids. Sorry if I'm getting a little aggressive. Sorry if I'm bringing up race. I don't care. It's just you always see the same pattern. You always see the same pattern. You need to understand that people change within culture. We have to remember, Taika, I believe, is straight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Taika is heterosexual. And when you're straight, heterosexual, I'm sorry, you just follow social norms. In the 60s, it was normal to treat black people as lesser. That was normal back then. But guess what? Society has changed. Society has evolved during that time period. Same thing with transgenders. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you were transgender, you were probably beaten up. You were probably seen as crazy. But nowadays, while that still happens, don't get me wrong, that still happens. Transphobia is still normal. While that still happens, it's now less and less, and you're seeing it less. 20 years ago, it was normal to beat up a gay person, and that was considered saving them. Now, you beat up a gay person, guess what happens? You get in massive trouble. You're called homophobic. You get in massive trouble because society changes over time. People need to understand that people change within society. Yes, call out transphobes, call out homophobes, but don't call them out just based on a 10-year-old tweet, especially when they are an ally of yours. Like, come on, it's ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous. Even if you hate Taika, there is no point in it. There is no point. It's frustrating, it's annoying, and I don't get the point of it. You're not helping society in any way. You're not contributing. You want to help the world. You want to help society. But you're not doing anything canceling somebody for a 10-year-old tweet. I'm sorry, it's frustrating. And you cannot tell me none of y'all have ever made a mistake like this. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I used to make a lot of dark, edgy humor. I'll give you some examples. I made a lot of Holocaust jokes. I made a lot of 9/11 jokes. I made a lot of jokes about lots of offensive things. Do I regret it? Yeah. But I am lucky enough that I didn't put it out there for the world. Now, there are some jokes I did make that I put out in the world. But I was lucky enough to stop and never put stuff on social media. It was more my private life. And I can guarantee you most of the people watching this video have made a joke that's that offensive, that have made horrible jokes, that have said terrible things, that have done horrible things in society. I can guarantee most of y'all have said a stupid joke or have said stupid things in general. I can guarantee you half the people watching this video used to be homophobes, used to be transphobes. But guess what? Society changes over time. Society changes over time. How do you expect humans to evolve if you're not going to let them learn from their mistakes? If a kid's playing soccer, let's say you're your parent and your kid's playing soccer, and let's say he's kicking the ball and he trips and falls down. You don't just tell that kid to stop playing soccer. You let him keep playing because he'll learn from that mistake. That's how society is. Let me use in school, when you take a math test and let's say you fail a test, you fail a math test. You don't just quit school there. You don't just drop out there. No, you keep learning, and eventually hope that in the future test you have a much better grade. That's usually how it is. And it's the thing that's annoying because how do you expect anyone to evolve if we're just going to hold them back? How? When you learn to ride a bike, you eventually take away those, what are those side wheels called? It's when you have those four-wheeled ones. I don't know what those things are called, but eventually when you improve, you take away those wheels and now you're using two wheels. The normal way how people people learn how to ride a bike. The first time you drive a car, you're not going to be an expert. You're probably going to be scared. You're going to be nervous. You're probably only going to be driving in a parking lot. But over time, you start improving. You start learning how to actually drive, how to park, reverse, drive, neutral, whatever you need to do, so that eventually you can get on the road and actually can be a functional member of society by knowing how to drive properly. Because you learned. You learned from your mistakes. And the same applies to jokes. The same applies to the things you believe 10 years ago. It's the same applies. And you know what? I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, this is a self-cancellation right here. But, so right now I'm censoring. So this is an old Instagram account I have. Now, the only reason why this account is still up and running is because I was never able to delete the account. But I'm going to have the account up here right now only for a couple seconds. And here's a post that no one has ever seen, at least here on YouTube. But here's a post I put out 2 years ago when I graduated high school. Now, when I graduated, they didn't give you a diploma. They gave you the little folder thing. I don't know what's it called, that the diploma goes in. And in that diploma thing, I put a piece of paper just temporarily, and I put it as a joke. I put it all over social media. If I could delete this video, I could, but you know what? It's out there, and I'm going to use myself as an example because I feel like I'm a hypocrite when all I'm doing is talking about how I made mistakes rather than showing you those mistakes and then showing you how I improved after. So I'm not expecting sympathy from this, but you know what? I'm going to use myself as a proof. Here is the clip. Look. I wrote that. Now, the video has no audio because I muted the video at the time because I used to like make funny little videos. But this video exists. It does. It really does exist. And do I regret the video? Yeah, because I used to be very homophobic. But guess what? I learned from that mistake. I improved upon it, and look where I am now. I've changed. Look at my videos. I keep defending gay people. And I'm not trying to make myself seem like an actual hero or anything. I'm no hero. I'm just some guy on YouTube. But a lot of the people that cancel Taika, a lot of the people that like to cancel everyone, they act like they're heroes. They act like they're helping society when you're really not. You're really not. Helping society is not canceling a man for a 10-year-old tweet. I've made mistakes, and you just clearly saw one of my mistakes. But that's just how society works. And you cannot tell me none of y'all ever said anything that's not this stupid. It's a stupid move. It's a stupid joke. But if you really want somebody to improve and you really want to help society, you will let them learn from that mistake. You will allow them to change themselves. You don't just hold them back and remind them about a stupid joke. I mean, look at James Gunn. After he made those stupid tweets in 2012, those stupid jokes, guess what? He stopped saying those jokes, and ever since 2012, which has already been over 10 years, he never made those jokes. Because he changed. Back in 2016, to give you an example, if you look that Filthy Frank, H3, they all used to say the N-word. The hard R N-word even. I mean, iDubbbz. iDubbbz would literally tell his audience, he would call them the N-word and the F-slur. You would use those two words, but back then that was popular because that was normal. But now that has changed. Even iDubbbz and H3 have changed because society changes over time. And a lot of y'all need to start learning that because sooner or later, you're going to have to get a real job. You're going to have to move away from your parents' house. And you're going to have to learn that that's how the world works. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Maybe I did self-cancel myself. I don't care. I just wanted to use that as evidence that I've made my own mistakes. But hey, whatever you guys think, let us know in the comment section down below. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.